Hey y'all, what's happening? I'm Rescue, serial entrepreneur, brand strategist, investor, and a philanthropist. And it's my hope that this video helps inspire you to take action now. No, I'm not here to impress you. Perhaps to impress upon you that it is all possible to elevate higher. So let's get right into it. This is your life guide. Okay, how to increase your credit score and get a perfect 850 credit score in less than 60 days. If cash is king, credit has got to be the queen. And there is no king without the queen holding him down. In this video, I'd like to help you with some basic information that can revolutionize your credit score and eventually your financial well-being. This information can get you to having the perfect credit score. Well, almost to perfection. According to the Federal Reserve, your credit score may predict how long you and your partner stays together. Let's face it, whether you know it or not, your credit score reveals how responsible you are or how conscious you are about your financial health. Well, because you're watching this video, it tells me how concerned you are and how ready you are to take things into your own hands and make your finances better than ever before. Well, you're about to get into the best shape ever, and this information will change your life and change your finances for the better. Let's get right into it. Sadly, 54% of Americans say they have never checked their credit score. That's like saying you have never been to the doctor. I mean, finances are a very important part of our lives. Well, let's be clear. Your educational level, your bank account balance, your stock portfolios, employment status, and or your salary are not factored into your credit score. What I'm about to share with you are purely through my personal experiences, having been ignorant about my credit and now becoming very educated and conscious and being on top of my financial game. So take these important steps to increase your credit score in a matter of 60 days or less. So before we continue, a credit score above 810 is considered perfect credit score. Studies have shown that anything above that is more or less like a bragging right. According to Credit Donkey, less than 1% of the US population have a credit score or FICO score of 850. On an average, you need about 9 years to actually build a perfect 850 credit score. But we will get to almost perfection. Why would you need a perfect credit? Well, not only for the bragging rights, but having a perfect credit or almost a perfect credit actually gives you leverage. It gives you financial freedom. It actually makes your financial life pretty easy. Not only would you get lower interest rates on your car loans, home loans, student loans, and any other loans that you may get, and even your credit card rates, it truly will empower you financially. The lower your credit, the harder your life. The higher your credit, the more money you're offered. And best of all, it gives you leverage and freebies. Now, if you do not have a credit card or you do not have any loans, what I would suggest is go to a bank, the banks that you bank with, and tell them that you need a secure credit card. So you offer them $100 or $500 so they can offer you a credit card. That's still your money, but they want to see how you pay it. Okay, Discover It is a good credit card company that will offer you a credit card, a secure credit card. But your bank could do that as well. It's a great way to start. So go ahead and put some money down, and so therefore you can leverage on building your credit history. What you do with one bank or one credit lender, others will see it through your history and will offer you a lot more. Your credit score tabulation, which is your FICO score, is broken down into 5. There are 5 important things you need to understand about credit score And when you totally understand this and put into practice, you will actually increase your credit tremendously, having that perfect score that you dream about, which are your credit history, your credit utilization, how long you have had your credit length, the increase on your credit, and how mixed your credits are. I'll explain. All of these 5 important points make up 100%. So your credit history makes up 35% of your credit. That basically means how late are you when you're paying your bills. Anytime you're over 30 days late or at any delinquency on paying your bills, that hurts your credit score. The first and the most important point is never ever be late on paying your credit cards. Never. The simpler way for you to do that is to connect to your bank and have an auto pay. So go ahead and do that right now. Connect all your credit cards to a bank that auto pays your credit. My advice is never carry a balance on your credit card. The less of a balance you carry, the more credits you're offered by the credit bank or whoever issues your credit card, because the trick is that the less you use, the more they feel that you're responsible and you don't need the money. And in this world, the less you need, the more you have, the more you'll be offered. So you will need to have your credit history at perfection. Never ever be late. I kid you not. If you do not put auto pay, you will forget. Things are happening, life is happening. So the best way for you to do is go ahead and put it on auto pay. Sit down, take about 1 hour and go through all your credit cards. If you only have one, well, that makes it easier. Go through all your credit cards and make sure that you connect it and at least pay the minimum. If you can't pay them all, the best is pay it all. But if you can't, go ahead and pay the minimum. So that makes 35% of your credit. It's like going to school, being in class, participation, or being late coming to class, and the professor says that is 35% of your score. So already, if you mess that up, you're already looking at, a C. And that's not good. If you want to make your credit score go up rapidly, almost instantly, there's one thing you need to do. Go ahead and smash the like button, and you will see it go in blue. That's how you make your credit score go up. And while you're at it, the notification button, that will help me bring you more content and inspire you to elevate to the next level. Let's move right on. The second one is utilization of your credit. So what does that mean? That basically means that if you were to have $1,000 on your credit card, okay, that $1,000, the more you use it, the more your utilization score goes down. So the best advice from me to you, having been in the worst credit situation and now having almost perfection, is do not spend more than 5% of your credit. Do not spend more than 5%. If you're gonna go up, the most will be 10%. Now, you may hear a lot of people telling you, 30%. Use 30%. Do not spend more than 10%. 5% is best. Okay, it's like if you're giving $1,000, do not spend more than $100 on that credit card. Spend about $50 and pay it off. Spend $100 and pay it off. The best thing is don't carry any balance. Spend the money, have cash in hand, have cash somewhere, and make sure that once you spend it, you pay. See, the trick is once you're doing that, you do that twice in a row, all of a sudden the bank is gonna assume that you're so responsible you don't even need the money. It's like, you're offered $1,000 and you have $1,000 in your credit card, and you don't use it. Well, let's create a scenario. We have $1,000. You and someone else has $1,000, and one person uses all of the $1,000, okay, and carries a balance. And then the other person uses only $50 and pays it off. What's gonna happen is that the person who uses it all and carries a balance, it seemed more riskier to the bank. So therefore, they wouldn't want to trust you with their money. But the person who uses only $50 or $100 and pays it off will actually be offered more. Now, periodically, you could use it as much as you want, but within 15 days, make sure you pay it all off. So, if you're really in need and you really need the credit card, I would say go ahead and use it. Even if you have to use the 100% of it, but do not wait until the due date to pay it off. No, within 14 days of the usage of your credit card, go ahead and pay it all off. Okay, now you could max it out, but never let it pass 15 days, 15 days, okay? Pay it off. It will show how responsible you are. It also sends a message that you actually don't need the money, but you're able to use it. And in most cases, they will increase your credit to a higher limit. But in the other case where you actually use it and not pay it off and you use it to the max, your credit score will be tanking, you will be offered nothing, and your life financially will be suffering. So right now, go ahead and take a look at your credit. If, for instance, you have $1,000 credit and you've used more than 10% or 30%, go ahead and pay it off within this month and see how high your credit jumps up. Go ahead and try it. See how high. So let's say you have $1,000 and you've used about $700, and that $700 is on your credit and you're being charged interest. You go ahead and pay all of that off and see how high your credit jumps up. How long have you had this credit for? So that counts for 15%. So if you've had this card for, let's say, the past 5 years, it means that your credit length is been 5 years. But the thing is, anytime you open a new credit, then your length goes down. The length of your credit, or how long you've had your credit card, is going to be very important. But anytime you add a new credit card, it actually lowers your credit score. Now, that is good and bad. The 15%, the length part, is not something to worry too much about, because the more credit you have, the more money you have, the higher your credit score gets, because all of a sudden now you can use $1,000 of your credit card because you have $10,000 by adding other credit. As you keep this at the lowest rate, you will be offered a lot of other credit cards, and that will help you to get a lot more credit. So as I had already mentioned, 9 years on an average is usually what you will need to actually have an 850 credit score. Okay, 850 credit score, and really only 1% of the US population actually has a perfect credit score. But when you're at 810, that's that's considered perfect. Anything more is like a bragging right. All right, you don't benefit anything more thereof. But it is important for you to understand that keeping your credit, the length, which is at 15%, but if you add any more credit, it will cut down the length of the time on an average that you've had your credit cards. What will happen though, if you were to have $1,000 in credit overall, and then you add another credit card, which let's say is $2,000, now all of a sudden your overall credit has increased to $3,000. that gives you more room to be able to use more credit without reaching or going above that 5 or 10% that I talked about. Okay, now you don't need to use the $100 only, but you could use a little more. But keeping it at that percentage, under 10%, that could help your credit grow a lot. Now the length will go down. Okay, the 15% will go down, but it's okay. That's not that bad because you actually gain having more credit. Anytime you add more credit, that score goes down. Now, the other important part is your credit inquiry. Hard inquiries will stay on your credit for at least 2 years or more. So you do not want any lenders or any credit cards to be inquiring on your credit. So unless you need that credit that bad, do not give them permission to check your credit, because every time they do a hard inquiry, basically if you apply for anything and they inquire on your credit, that means it's a hard inquiry. And anytime you let them do that, your credit score goes down. So you don't want to do that. However, if they were to do a soft pull, you could ask them, can you do a soft pull? If they do a soft pull, then you'll be in a good shape because it will not affect your credit score. Any hard pull will be on your credit history for the next 2 years or more, and you do not want that. If you follow some of the steps so far, all of a sudden you will be periodically getting offers in the mail about getting credit card, or offering you great bonuses to be part of this credit card and so on and so forth. Ignore most of them. And it is okay when you get on the phone with these credit lenders, you ask them, is this a hard pull or is it a soft pull? If they offer you without you applying, it's most likely a soft pull. And that is basically okay. You do need to add more onto your credit in order to increase it. So we will compromise on the length and increase on getting more credit and be able to increase our overall credit. Now, the last but not the least important is the mix of your credit, which is also at 10%. So all of that makes 100%. So that 10% basically means what kind of credit lenders do you have on your history. So far we've only been talking about credit cards. So if you only have credit cards on your credit history, that means you only have one. If you have auto, that's another. If you have mortgage, that's another. So mixing your credit lenders or mixing your credit will actually also give you 10% boost on your credit. So the other trick is that you could go to your bank and say, hey, I'm looking to loan some money. But what I would like is I have $500, so I have $1,000, and I want a secure loan to demonstrate that you are capable and able to pay on time. And of course, when you do that, it will increase your credit in a substantial way. So important things for you to know and understand to actually be able to build your credit right is make sure that your utilization is so low. Okay, you gotta act like you don't need the money. Okay, the more you act like you don't need the money and you don't use too much of it, the more they're gonna throw more at you. If you always come to someone's house and eat all the food, they're not gonna invite you back. But if you come and you're excited about it, you eat a little bit and and you show appreciation, they will invite you back. So it's the same as credit. It's kind of weird, but it's the same as credit. I kid you not. It wasn't too long ago when my Chase Sapphire, I used my Chase Sapphire a way I've never used it before. All of a sudden, they have decided to decrease my credit because all of a sudden they see that, wow, I need more money, so therefore I'm using more credit than what I usually use it for. So you ask, wait, didn't you give me this credit so I could use it how I want to and be able to pay you on time? See, the bank doesn't think like that. The bank for you, you're a risk, is unsecured credit card. So they are always on guard how you use your credit. It is important that you keep a certain behavior. They've studied your behavior and know that, okay, this is how you use your credit. So anything out of that range, they get very nervous and they will cut your credit down, and that will affect your credit like never before. So create a certain pattern how you use your credit and make sure you stay at that pattern in using it. At any time, make sure that you don't go above a certain. Now, if you do that, you will be offered by other lenders lots more credit, and that can actually give you more room to still be under 10%, although now you're using more money. But the thing is, you've been offered a lot more, right? It's no longer $1,000. Perhaps right now you're at a $25,000, and now you're actually using what, 5,000 or so of your money, and it's perfectly fine. So create that history so you don't act like you're desperate. The more desperate and the more hungry they see you, the more you don't have it, the more they will take that money from you. The more you act like you don't need it, you don't want it, the more they're gonna give more and throw more at you. So keep that in mind. It's gonna be very, very, very important. I will definitely advise you to make sure that you subscribe or sign up to one of these credit monitoring or credit, reporting agencies, or actually even Credit Karma or CreditWise or any of those, so you can pay attention to your credit score, because whatever you cannot see, you cannot manage. So make sure you always checking your credit so you can see how well you're doing. If it goes down, it will alert you. If it goes up, it will alert you. Take all of these steps into action, because knowledge and not acting on it is absolutely nothing. Okay, what good is power that is in your head? But if you actually exercise it and you use it, it will definitely help you. And you can also be enjoying this beautiful wine when you know your credit is at almost perfection. The other point is that make sure that any of the credit cards that you're with, they most likely offer credit reports, right? So make sure that you take advantage of that, and like your personal health, make sure that you check all the time. Check to see where your credit score at. Check to see what is on your credit. Now check if you've had any hard inquiry that you don't recognize. Go ahead and dispute it. Anytime you do a credit dispute, it improves your credit a lot. But make sure that it's something you either don't remember or you don't agree with, and dispute it. And in most cases, they may not be able to prove it. So dispute anything that you don't agree with, or perhaps you just want to make sure that they can prove that this exists and this and this and that. Especially if it's a collection, you should definitely dispute it. And in most cases, the collection agency does not have any proof, and it will end up resulting in your the judgment will be in favor of you, whereby it will be removed and you will get your credit score up. The one no you never want to do is do not ever close any of your credit cards. Yes, you may in the beginning have had some worse credit cards and you don't need it anymore because you've advanced to Chase Reserve or Chase Sapphire or American Express and all of that. Like for me, one of those is Capital One. I despise Capital One. As much of credit cards that I have now, Capital One still keeps me at that $500 that they've given me from the beginning, and I don't use it, and barely. Okay, maybe I have periodically I charge something on it, but do not close it, because anytime you close your credit card, the length that you've had the credit, all your credit cards for decreases. Okay, so do not close your credit cards because it will affect your credit. So what are your thoughts? If there's some tips that I forgot to mention and you know it, and that worked for you, go ahead and list it down below. While you're at it, hit the notification button after you subscribe and give me that love and like and thumbs button, and to show some support. It will also populate or recommend this video to others who need to watch this. Well folks, I appreciate you for watching. Once again, this video is really important to me. It really has changed my life. Some of the tips that I've given has changed my life drastically in terms of having leverage and having lots of money available to me to use at any time, an emergency, whatsoever. So make sure that you take this step, take it one by one, and within a matter of 60 days or less, you will improve your credit in a way like never before. You see, what you don't know costs you a lot. You don't know what you don't know, and that is costing you. So I hope that this information is valuable to you and can help you as well. So go ahead and share this video with 1 or 2 people. I look forward to sharing some more exciting times with you through a lot of these other videos that I will be sharing with you. So make sure that you subscribe. That's about it for now. Remember, knowledge is power, but the application of knowledge is powerful. You have greatness within you, so tap right into it. I look forward to seeing you at the top because the bottom is too crowded. I'm Rescue, and this is your life guide. When you know your credit is at almost perfection. Cheers.